Welcome back, guys. We are officially a week into 2026, which means that on average, a third of people have already given up on their New Year's resolutions. And by the end of January, that number is going to be almost above 50%. Every year, we do the same thing. We set New Year's resolutions only to give up on them after a short period of time. And so if you want to break your cycle, if you want to achieve your goals and you want to have the best 2026 imaginable, you're going to need to do something different. You're going to need to do something that nobody's talked about before, which is why I'm going to give you, honestly, the best tips that aren't talked about. The first tip to achieve a 2026, have the best 2026 of your life is to actually get yourself some hobbies. All these people are like, you got to have the grind set. You got to do this. You got to be working 16 hours a day to, achieve your best 2026. I'm telling you to do the opposite, which is to let yourself relax. That means get two different types of hobbies. Get a creation hobby and get a consumption hobby. And whatever you do, I will smack you upside the head. Do not min-max them, right? That means I'm telling you, this is not an RPG, character creation screen where you're putting 10 points into intelligence, 10 points into strength, and everything else is like, level 1. I'm telling you, just enjoy life. That means getting a hobby where you get to do something fun for yourself. So that when I say creation hobby, I mean things like, getting into woodworking, right? So, carving yourself a spoon or, making YouTube videos. I do this for fun. I don't ever expect to make any money from YouTube. If I do, cool, that's cool, but like, I'm not trying to optimize my YouTube, right? I'm not uploading, at 10 a.m. on a Tuesday, which will get me, 3.6% more views than, if I were to upload, 7 p.m., on a Saturday, right? So don't min-max your hobbies. Another thing is with that consumption hobby, limit yourself, right? So when I say consumption hobby, I know for some people it's going to be watching YouTube videos, and I'm saying that, and you're watching YouTube videos. So it's my YouTube videos, so it's a little bit hypocritical. But try to find a consumption hobby where it's easy to turn off, right? So maybe instead of watching hundreds of YouTube videos, you watch maybe critically acclaimed films, or maybe it's wine tasting, right? You go wine tasting once a week. These are all fine consumption hobbies. The one thing that you don't want to do with a consumption hobby is to do it in excess. So that means, no going on YouTube shorts for like 6 hours a day, no watching YouTube for 6 hours a day. Limit yourself to a specific time and place. Oh, I like trying the different wines, from Napa Valley, from Italy, from wherever it may be. But nobody's going to tell you to start hobbies. But if you want 2026 to be the best year of your life, you better have some hobbies. You better, give yourself a reason to enjoy 2026. But now that we're going into that, we can actually start about the other thing of 2026, which is making and achieving your goals. And so what I'm going to tell you is that, let's say for 2026, you want, and this is going to be for every year, but I'm recording this in 2026. Whatever you do, don't make your goals abstract. So what are the most common goals for, New Year's resolutions? Oh, I want to lose weight. I want to eat healthier. I want to make a lot of money. All of those things are great and, good goals to want to strive towards. They're all first of all, they're generic. They don't have any structure, and they don't actually give you tangible things to measure against. The number one thing, given myself working in finance, is that you need to be able to track the numbers, right? You need to have some sort of a measurement that you're tracking against. So don't say you want to lose weight. Say I want to lose 20 pounds of fat. And the way that I'm going to achieve that is I'm going to be in a 500 calorie deficit per day. On average, that's going to help me lose a pound a week. And over the course of, 2026, I'll lose 52 pounds. Great. That's much easier to track against than saying, I want to lose weight. Because what if you lose weight, but you lose muscle, right? That's terrible, right? Or, you lose weight, you lost 2 pounds. Well, technically I lost weight, and so my 2026 is successful. No, if you want to have an amazing 2026, if you want to achieve the goals that you want to achieve, that's what you're going to need to do. The second thing is that if you want to achieve these things, you have to be consistent. Consistency is going to be much more important than kind of like, not doing much work, and then at the very end trying to do it all, right? And a lot of us have that bad habit from being in school, where a lot of us are above average intelligence, and so what do? We don't do any homework, we don't do anything, and then at the very last moment we're like, I'm just going to grind and I'm just going to get everything done at the last second, which again works well for school because school is really not that difficult. But it doesn't work when you have a goal that doesn't mess around with that. If you eat terribly for 6 days out of the week, and then one day out of the week, you go hard, it's not going to help. I mean, you might lose a little bit of weight, but that'd be very generous, and more than likely you're not going to lose any weight. You want to make a lot of money, and so 6 days out of the week, you're just watching YouTube for hours and hours and hours. But that sixth day, or that seventh day, you're like, I'm going to research money making activities for 12 hours, and that's not productive. Yes, you're accomplishing the same amount of work, but I would much rather you 6 days out of the week work 2 hours each than to work 12 hours on one day, because it's actually going to build that habit. It's going to make it easier, and then soon you'll be able to work for 3 hours each day, 4 hours each day. It builds that habit. And so be consistent. That's the number one thing that I can tell you, and it's the biggest thing that's going to help you achieve your goals. The final thing that I'm going to say is you should not tell a single soul what you're doing. Most people think that telling people their goals is going to make them accountable, and the only thing that it's going to do is actually just make you anxious. It's going to make you anxious because think about this. Right? You tell people, hey, I'm going to lose weight this year. And everybody's like, yeah, good job, lose weight. We believe in you. And then when it comes and it's 2 months later, if you don't have any results yet, it's going to make you feel terrible about yourself. And what are you going to want to do? You're going to either want to quit, or you're going to give up, or, worse yet, you're going to lie to them. The number one thing that you cannot do is lie to yourself and lie to the people around you, because that's just going to make you lose faith in yourself. Just don't tell people. And another thing is, like, even if they want the best for you, it's going to make you anxious. But worst case, you're going to have people in your life that want you to do well, but a lot of people, they want you to do well, but not better than them. So they start to see you succeed. They start to see you, really, leaning out or making a lot of money from your business venture, and they're going to start to sabotage you either consciously or subconsciously. And the last reason why you shouldn't tell people what you're doing is because it feels good to tell people about the things that we are trying to accomplish. We get that dopamine early. Oh, I'm telling everybody that I'm going to lose weight. Oh, everybody, you're the man. I can't believe you're going to lose weight. I'm so excited for you, to see you once you've lost weight, or I'm so excited to see you once you've built this, great, amazing business. You've already gotten the dopamine. You haven't completed any of the work, but you've got the dopamine. And now you don't even have to achieve the work, right? Because everybody's already given you the praise. And so whatever you do not tell people the goals that you're trying to achieve. Once you're like 80% of the way there, 85, 90% of the way there, you can be like, hey guys, I'm working towards this. And then, and then at that point you can cash in some dopamine, but whatever you do, don't tell people before that. And so my 4 tips in this video, just to reiterate, the first is, before you try to make 2026 your year, you need to give yourself a hobby. You need to give yourself something to look forward to, something to take the edge off, something that's really about just having a good time. Then, after you've done that, make sure that you have actionable goals that you can measure towards. Make sure that you're being consistent, and don't tell anybody what you're doing. That's all you need to do in order to have an amazing 2026 and achieve your goals. That's it for now. If you like the video, please like the video and comment down below if you have any tips.